Students, today we are going to do listening skills. Please follow the worksheet and try to answer the questions given in the worksheet. Task 1. You will hear 5 short extracts of people talking about technology in schools. Read the statement below, then listen to the extracts and match each statement A to G to each speaker 1 to 5. There are 2 statements. You do not need. You will hear the recording twice. Speaker 1. Schools are changing, becoming smarter. The days of lounging around huge school bags, making notes and mugging from textbooks are gone. They've given way to smart classrooms with whiteboards on which content can be saved, stored, viewed online. Schools were experimenting with basic technology till recent times, but this is no longer the case. Class notes are not emailed to students, there are graphics, calculators, and Microsoft Excel spreadsheets. Homework assignments are posted online. All of this is designed to make teaching more interactive by video conferencing and live broadcasting. Speaker 2. What does so much technology do to a child's learning life? Today, a teacher's job is to focus on concepts rather than content. He should be able to teach more than what Google has to offer. However, while we embrace technology, we have to be extra cautious as kids are highly vulnerable to cybercrimes. So the question is, how much technology is too much in schools? While smart classes have their advantages, it doesn't make any sense to make 7-year-old carry a laptop to school. If students can read up everything online, they may become complacent and even stop going to school. Speaker 3. Children aren't as attentive as they used to be before smartboard devices were incorporated into teaching. Some children no longer take notes. Those using internet 24/7 are easily distracted. Children miss out on writing skills. Let's face it, the traditional tools of teaching will never become obsolete. Another drawback of the net age is that students are at a loss if they don't understand content on the web or have a guide at hand. Technology can never replace a teacher. Speaker 4. Gen Y seems to be comfortable with technology. Even though parents and teachers are still in adjustment mode, I don't know which generation will be better off in the long run. Though it's good for their brains, but it is good for them in other ways. Children are mentally active, not so physically. Speaker 5. Technology is here to stay and we will just have to accept it. But there is no doubt that children's handwriting and vocabulary have suffered. However, the danger is not so much from the use of technology in a supervised classroom, but rather what a child will do at home when he is alone, lost in a virtual world. His health, ability to engage with others, natural curiosity about his surroundings, and imagination are bound to suffer. If pen and paper once defined school days, it's the stylus, touch screen, and so to do today. Perhaps the two can coexist. That's the end of task 1. Now it's time for task 2. You will hear three people talking about homework. Read the sentences below, then listen to the conversation and choose A, B or C for each sentence. You will hear the recording twice. Intro female. School homework, the bane of many a household, has been closely studied by a pair of Australian academics who who found that homework for young primary school children is of little or no value when it comes to academic achievement. Rachel Cronobel spoke to the book's authors Richard Walker and Professor Mike Horsley about their views. Hello! I realize there's a lot of disagreement, but the consensus findings would be that homeworks not very beneficially for primary school kids. There are very limited benefits for junior high school kids and only reasonable benefits for senior high school kids. Thinking about the effect of involvement of parents in homework, where parents are over controlling or interfere in the kids' homework activities, then that's clearly not beneficial, is it? But where parents essentially try to provide guidance, then that situation is beneficial for students. Not many parents actually do this. They tend to take control, but if they can take a backseat, then this supports their kids' autonomy rather than them being interfering and controlling. Female. Well, despite the research showing overall that homework is of limited value for younger children, it didn't discount the value of homework in children. For example, it said that it helps to develop their skills such as managing their time and setting completing tasks. Yes, but the fact is that the quality of homework that is set more important than the quantity. We think that there's probably too much homework, which is basically just practicing and repeating the work done in this class. I think book is valuable because it's aimed at teachers and parents as well as students. I suppose it in essence it proposes a rethink of homework, doesn't it? For example, it suggests that teachers should develop a homework curriculum. That is, when the teachers are planning their unit of work, they should probably plan homework at that time. Homework is an add-on. So, one of the things that we hope to achieve is to try and get the planning of homework to be more sophisticated, much more structured and organized. The thing is that homework tends to be seen as being an individual activity. But if you see homework as being social and cultural in nature, then you're going to get different types of homework for students. If you believe this, then you're probably going to emphasize more collaborative learning. You're probably going to emphasize the fact that students need some assistance with their homework from parents and other people rather than just the idea of students sitting at home in isolation doing their homework. That's the end of task 2. It's time for task 3. Task 3. You will hear Sarita Shah giving a presentation on heating problems and solution for them. Read the question below, then listen to the extract and choose 4 of the options A to G which are correct. You will hear the recording twice. Which 4 of the following statements does the speaker believe to be true? Let's begin. Heat mapping. Hello, I am Sarita Shah, working at Heatwell, an upcoming heat mapping company in New Delhi. Do you know where your insulation gaps are? As the winter months arrive and much of northern India braces itself for icy weather, we take to the streets to let homeowners know exactly where their heating expenses are escaping. We provide suggestions about how to make your homes more energy efficient. We drive around as many streets as possible, taking pictures of people's homes in your SUV, equipped with infrared cameras, heat mapping whatever homes are visible on both sides of the street. The photos give a quick assessment of each structure's thermal envelope and highlight areas where heat is escaping into the outside area in blobs of color ranging from black coldest to purple, orange and yellow, which is the hottest. The images can be used as a thermal map to prioritize areas that need extra insulation, usually around windows, eaves and spaces between floors. The images then processed on the company's software and stored on a securer server. Homeowners can then type in their addresses to see if their homes have been covered and get a free assessment. Heatwell can then recommend local insulation companies, window installers, etc., that can provide fittings to help plug the gaps. The only challenge that we face in the concern of privacy expressed by the people, but we at Heatwell insist that our cameras cannot see through walls or windows, so it is impossible to see people or object inside the buildings. Also, the images are stored on a secure server and homeowners can also opt out of the program and have the photos deleted at their request. It can be proved that about 50% of household energy waste results from breaches in homes' heat envelope. The company estimates that residential buildings can easily save rupees 37,000 to 75,000 per year. That's the end of section 2. It's time for section 4. I hope you are able to solve the answers. If not, then you can repeat section by section and re-listen to the audios. Let's begin task 4. You will listen to someone talk about things that irritate them on Indian roads. Read these sentences, then listen to the speaker and complete these sentences in 1 or 2 words only. You will hear the recording twice. An average Indian road is an irritating place to be it a biker, a truck driver, a car owner, a cyclist, a scooterer, or a mere pedestrian. It is a path full of uncertainties, dangers, at times unintended amusements. Today, I want to discuss what is it that irritates me the most when I am on the road. I'm sure I will get a fair share of people supporting me on this. Honking too much of it and that is a problem, a big one. In India, people often think they will clear a traffic jam simply by honking their horns. Does not happen. What happens instead is high blood pressure for some, road rage for others, and frustration for the rest. If there are any left, they simply turn up the volume. I think the last ones are the smartest and get home first. Why are people so obsessed with high beam highlights? I will never know. And to be sure, I never use high beam myself. See, high beam has its uses. On a highway with high speed traffic and one-way roads, it is the only way to drive. But in cities with well-lit low roads, in Delhi, Mumbai and some other cities, it's a nightmare. In fact, it is criminal to use high beam, or should at least be. Rear view mirrors have a purpose and are supposed to be used. Pity, we don't realize that. Out of laziness or sheer carelessness, I'm yet to figure out. The number of cars on the road who never bother putting into use the rear side view mirrors is incredible. You don't need University of Cambridge research to prove that. Simply roam around the city and casually note the number of cars with folded side view mirrors or those without one at all. Somehow to me, a rear side view mirror is more useful than a normal rear view mirror. It helps you to reverse and also when you wish to change lanes and yet people don't use it. Shame, shame. And now the bikers. They are a bunch of crazy people. They zigzag around, sometimes appear in front of you out of nowhere, and at times disappear too without warning. And in India, there are so many of them. They make my life hell. But what is it with SUVs though? You are big, you are spacious, you are frightening, but you don't own the road, not in the city anyway, because you are heavy, you are also slow, and no matter how hard you try, you can't get further ahead of my Maruti 800 from one red light to the next. So stop giving me those looks. I'm scared, but can't be defeated. Irritating. Thank you so much. That's the end of this listening skills. I hope you are able to solve all the answers, but if you're not, don't cheat. You can re listen to the whole audio one more time and solve the answers and transfer those answers in your fair notebook. I'll share the answer key soon with you.